Holy shit, it's like shit on Nicole day. What the fuck?
Really?
A little bit.
I don't think so.
I like the people thing. I think that's funny.
Oh, we did.
Hold up.
Hi, this is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned into the second episode of The Real Word.
Take two.
We've had a lot of issues with our mic. If you're watching this and not listening, you can tell our setup is the most pathetic of all time. Like it's awful.
Right. Well, in all honesty, I mean, if I kind of want to I kind of want to scan around too, so they could actually see the entire.
How pathetic this is.
We're making the best of the current situation.
That's right.
Isn't that a song?
I don't know, but we forgot our light, by the way.
Oh, we do
Brian.
need our light.
Do we need our light? We don't need the
No.
light? I mean, this is just so bad. It's
Byron
gonna get better
really,
over
he
time.
likes his light. He wants his eyes to pop. He wants to have like
a
his
little sparkle,
little cheeks.
Hopefully you're just listening to this one and not watching because it's that bad. And so we've had some issues with the mic. This is the second take, which is good because we get to recap on some stuff.
Again.
And before we get into that, I need to address, before we get into the two words and the final word, I need to address a little bit of constructive criticism.
It was super constructive.
Which we appreciate and we want more of. Drop us a comment anytime, whether it's constructive or praise. Somebody reached out and said, hey, if you guys are going to be a news show, you got to become a journalist.
And she even did tisk tisk.
We're not a news show. I'm going to take that back. I'm going to take full blame for going the Sports Center out on word
we
one.
made it super clear that we're not news, we're not politics, and I'm not sports. So it leaves the word.
The format is two words, basically our word on top of a relevant piece of news in our industry, right? In the real estate industry. We're going to put our 2 cents on top of.
Right.
Right?
Well,
and they're going to be our words.
The last word, though, is like people wanting us to give criticism on a certain topic.
Or not criticism.
Right.
Could be our input.
Input's the better word.
Yep. Our input. So the final word is always going to come from you. Whether you're an agent, a broker, a lender, whoever you might be, you can either give us a topic to talk about or a question, whatever you want. We have a final word ready for this show, which is
we
cool.
do. Yeah, it was great. Someone from California reached out. So
we're not a news publication.
We're definitely not news. If I'm news, I quit.
You're quitting.
Yes. Well, it will be high on Byron.
I want to know, would the show improve if Nicole quits and she's not around for episode 3? Or
I don't know. I don't know if I want to know.
We were on Inman News for the
week.
For the whole week.
Well, Byron actually wanted me to hide this episode behind the microphone, so we could try that one out too.
Well, our setup is so bad that we kind of are hiding behind the microphones. But let's get into the first word.
Yes.
There was an article shared on Lab Coat Agents. So if you're an agent or a broker, you're definitely following Lab Coat Agents.
So, but in their defense, if they're not, I was not until Byron invited me.
That's true.
I do need to invite 5 other people. They asked me if I was awesome. Which I had to answer, of course, yes. And then it asked me to invite 5 more people. So if any of you want to get on the Lab Co Agent, let me know. I'd love to invite you on there.
Reach out to Nicole directly.
I need 5.
She needs 5 or she's going to get thrown out.
I may get thrown out. Well, they may find out that I'm not awesome too.
I think you're the only one that I added, so I may need 4 more.
Oh, okay. So we need 9.
I've still been in there.
If you're not on Lab Coat Agent, it's okay.
We'll get you on there. If you're in the industry, you should be in there. So Ryan Schwartz, who, by the way, Ryan, we met one time on a Delta flight, I think coming back from Naples. Ryan lives down in Naples. And he shared this article. What did he write exactly? Let's get exactly what he posted.
Well, I think he would.
So Ryan shared the link on Lab Coat Agents. I just read this article and figured it would be an interesting topic for this group. How do you dress when you show? The article he's referring to is on Mashable. And they're talking about Mark Zuckerberg and Damon Beers wrote the article.
Right. And I mean, he wants to know why he dresses
We'll read the first line.
Let's just say it. Mark Zuckerberg dresses horribly and he should be ashamed every time he appears in public.
So Ryan made the post. There was 158 comments on this post.
Like
so
crap.
Everybody's chiming in. How do you dress when you go on the listing? I just came from a listing appointment, by the way, which I signed.
So this is what you wear.
This is what I wore.
What you wore,
right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and so I'd love to hear your take.
So this is what I wear.
Or your word.
I wear what I wear when I wear it.
You just go with whatever is clean, or
Well, of course,
It doesn't have to be clean?
It's clean. It's always clean. But no, I mean, I wear what is the most comfortable for me. I wear leggings, but I certainly don't wear sweatpants. But I'm also not like, I'm not a skirt and suit jacket because
Suited up.
I feel weird. I would sit there and like I would just be real like shoulder pads, like no.
Do you think it depends on where you are? Like if I know when I go into New York City, all the brokers are suited up. Well, the majority of them, anyways, are suited up because that's like the culture of New York City. Do you think it depends on where you live? Like we're on the Connecticut shoreline.
Maybe.
You don't see a lot of suits rolling around.
It could be, but I think I mean, maybe it's also how you were raised though too. I mean, you go to like Italy and like you go to like the Spanish Steps and like 16-year-old boys are wearing suits. Like that's the culture. But like that's not how. I mean, I wasn't raised to like, you know. I mean, I don't know. I wear what's comfortable, which makes me the most confident, so that I can.
So whatever you want to
be
wear.
who I want to be. Yeah,
So,
and if they don't like who I am, then like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I think that I think there's a couple. I'll take both sides a little bit, ride the fence. I think it depends on how much leverage you have. So they're talking about Mark Zuckerberg and how it's ridiculous that he's not wearing a suit. There's a picture.
They think
of him.
it's disrespectful, which seems like woo.
It's a little strong for me. He's in a boardroom with a bunch of guys in suits that are, by the way, looking for him to help them.
Right. Well, so, they're trying to get like resources out to like one of the, I think maybe Puerto Rico or.
So he has the leverage.
He's there to help.
And he's there to help. So what does it matter what he's wearing? He chooses to wear the same gray t-shirt every single day. There's a bunch of articles on that. He bought like, probably 50 of the same t-shirt because it's comfortable. And he wants to wake up, put the same t-shirt on every single day, not think about what he's wearing. He's simplified his life so much that he can just build the best platform in the world called Facebook and focus all of his energy and attention on that. Going back to if you're a real estate agent, same thing. If you have Mark Zuckerberg type of leverage in your industry, wear whatever you want. Like wear a football jersey. Like nobody's going to care. You have the leverage. You have the proof that you've done all these deals. If you're just starting out and you're pitching like somebody who's an accountant who also wears a suit, then you may want to suit up for that appointment. Like, if you don't have the leverage, then make the connection another way. Right. So I think I do some of that. Like I typically wear what I'm comfortable. My favorite line has always been since my sport days.
It's a good one.
You look good, you feel good, you play good. We've talked about it on the 5 a.m. call. If you look good in your mind, doesn't mean you look good in everyone else's perception, but if in your mind you look good, you're naturally going to feel good.
Of course.
Like, oh, this is my favorite shirt, my favorite sweatshirt, just fits me so right.
Right.
Now I'm feeling good.
Confidence.
Exactly.
Yes.
I've got the confidence to perform.
Right.
So
I do think that the gentleman that wrote the article, I feel like he was a little harsh. I
thought so.
I mean, I don't think it was disrespectful. I don't think that he put on the t-shirt to have a big middle finger to the people. Again, it's just really interesting that the picture that they correlated with this article, like he's there like helping find a way to get. I mean, I remember during the hurricanes here on the Connecticut shore. I mean, Facebook was the only way that I was able to stay in touch with some of my friends.
Really?
So yeah, I mean,
I was without power on the first one for like 10 days. And I was hanging out with Mohegan Sun a lot.
Oh,
all right.
That's a different word.
That's
love that word another day. Different word.
Second word. What do we got for the second word? Everybody's probably
maybe
that watched episode 1. You should go back if you didn't, or caught all of the comments on Inman News,
or caught us. We did a little Facebook Live.
We did a Facebook Live with Greg. So episode 1, go back. We talked about Stop Zillow. We talked about Greg Hague and his campaign now, which he's switching the verbiage to the plan to save real estate, which, by the way, I don't think needs saving, and you'll get that if you watch episode 1. We did a Facebook Live with him.
I think I had the corner in the video. I think you did
Nicole.
I think you did a Facebook Live, but it was good. I was there. I participated, and he invited me out. So I mean,
do I owe you an apology for the Facebook Live?
No, not at all. It was great.
Greg, by the way, has a lot to say. So we had limited time on our end.
Right.
Greg's an attorney, by the way, so he knows how to drag out his answers, and I did end up liking Greg in the end. We can get to that in a second.
I think he was nice. I think he was willing to listen as we were.
He's willing to learn and adjust, and exactly. I think
Right.
all of us in this industry need to be willing to do that
And have
at all times.
conversations.
Absolutely, and have
Yeah, I mean,
conversations.
he was ready to jump on a conversation right away, which you got to give him props for. He wasn't hiding.
But he is an attorney, so he'll like drag out his answers. So you're sitting there like you have the goods,
And you forgot.
because he's dragged it out for 7 minutes, and that's why he does that, right? Because like you want to jump on something 3 minutes in, and
Yeah.
he'll,
I
like, go
tried.
right off.
I tried.
So when we did did you change your opinion of Stop Zillow at all in the 40 minutes we spent with him on the Facebook Live?
I did not.
Yeah.
I mean, I applaud him, and I mean, just like us, like we're trying to build like a website for our team.
Right.
He's
We're not trying, by the way.
We are. We are.
It'll be up next week.
Yes.
So.
And he's
Right, Brianna?
He's trying to, and I think that that's great. But I do still think that Zillow's around. I think it's going to be around. I think that it's a useful resource. I mean, obviously, I guess the problem that I had the most, which I was trying to say during that debate, is that I as much as Zillow is maybe misleading, I think that we're not giving enough, like, I don't know, clout for agents. You know, I mean, I have plenty of people that see things on Zillow, but then come to me looking for an opinion. So,
and we were
always able to sort of
our
right that
last
ship.
episode. We weren't talking about every video Greg's
Just
ever done.
that one.
We're talking, and we said
Right.
that in episode 1. We were just talking about the three ring binder days. We had a huge issue with that. We felt like Greg, and we still feel that way in that video. Which, if you look back, before this channel, I had over 200 videos. Not all of them were that good. So we picked probably one of his worst videos to kind of pick apart. I still, like you, do not believe he should be running around saying Stop Zillow. And he knows that. Like, we did a whole Facebook Live.
Right.
He knows that I disagree with him on that. I think we look bad as an industry. There's a lot of people that disagree with me on the Inman News comments, but there's a lot of people that agree with us.
Right.
And I just think from a consumer's perspective, if we're trying to control them and using that type and having those types of conversations of, oh, well, geez, how do we take control back from, by the way, the consumer? Because that's what Zillow did. They gave more control to the consumer. They're going to look at it as like, geez, you guys are now like getting back to that sleazy salesperson. I just think we've come so far as an industry to, like the TV shows have actually done a lot.
Right.
It does create some like confusion for people.
Maybe.
Like the HGTV stuff. But it's also done a lot to put us on what I think is another level in their eyes that, oh, this is a really good industry. These aren't used car salespeople.
Right.
And I think we need
Well,
to
I
continue.
think the industry has obviously changed significantly too. I mean, anyway.
And I just believe that to wrap that whole thing up, I just believe that Greg and everybody that's kind of involved in that movement aren't giving consumers enough credit. I think the majority of consumers are smart enough to realize that the estimates are completely false, that there's a lot of bad information on Zillow, but it's just that. It's a resource for them to see listings, get more information, find a good agent that can educate them, right?
Exactly.
So we'll talk about this more.
Oh, I'm
if people
certain
want
we
to.
will. I'm certain we will.
Yeah.
I mean, and Greg invited us to go out to Arizona in February
So
for
we
the
have to
launch
respond.
of this website.
Are we gonna do that?
We wow, we're on the spot here. I think we already told him that we were. He wanted us to donate $500 to his cause.
Well, and then I did the math. I said, all right, I've got to figure out if we're getting the best end of this deal. I looked up the plane tickets. We would definitely be getting the better end of the deal.
Okay. So we just need to.
He wants us to do a show out there.
Oh, that'll be fun.
So that could be like the Real Word episode. I don't know, like 60 or something, or maybe 50.
We can
maybe
call it
40.
well, it's sort of like the Real World, California,
It's
like
not
the
the
Real
Real
World.
Real
I know,
Word.
the real, right?
All
That's what I
right.
mean, like the Real Word, Arizona. you know?
Arizona episode. So we may do an Arizona episode with
That would
Greg
be
in
in
the future.
February, yeah.
I think we're still, we're happy to go to his launch and check that out and spend a day down there with Greg and all the peeps.
Yeah.
I think we're still ultimately going to disagree that Zillow's not going away.
Zillow's not going away.
And we need to use it to our advantage to connect with more buyers and sellers and help them.
Absolutely.
The final word. What do we got?
We're here.
We have some. So
A gentleman.
I should bring it up.
Yeah, a gentleman from California reached
I should be more
out.
prepared most of the time.
I mean, you're pretty prepared. This is take 2, so we were super prepared the first one, and now we're just kind of like, like, I feel like we've already discussed
We will never,
all
by
this.
the way, now that we have the mics figured out, right, Brian? We're never going to be doing take 2s again. These are take 1 shows
Always.
forever and always, even though the first two weren't. All right, what was his name here?
Holy schmoly. Dude,
Well,
you
I've
make
got
fun of my desktop. Look at your messages.
If anybody can figure out how to organize Facebook Messenger, I'd love for you to reach out to me and educate me on that, because it's like everybody you connect with on Messenger is like, you are now connected with so-and-so. You are now connected.
Well, maybe that's a
Here he
notification
is.
thing. We could probably get rid of that. We'll figure that out after.
Wait, do you have it on yours?
I hate that. Every time
Yeah.
I friend somebody, it's like, you're now,
Let's figure that out. So Jason Vadina, who is from California, I believe.
He is from
Let me click on his profile. He's a fan of the show.
He is.
Episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
He is Keller Williams, San Diego.
San Diego.
So Jason, I had a question. Final word. If you could go back in time and give your rookie self 3 pieces of advice, what would it be? So you can go first, Nicole.
So I don't know that I necessarily have 3, although
well,
I probably should have been able to come
up
up
with
with a 3rd.
one, and I can do like 2. You know?
Okay, so that's good. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I have 2-ish. So I think my first would be getting my systems in place. Brianna actually laughs at me because I have a lot of even just pizza contacts in my contacts when she was
pizza girl.
when she was arranging my contacts for me. But I wish that I had spent a little bit more time getting like my systems in place, like my contacts organized. Like that was something that I'm totally slacking
because
on.
in this industry, like you can just start running and stuff like isn't getting done. You're getting stressed out about the fact that that's not getting done, but you have to service a buyer
or
a seller.
oh my gosh, like the person that I helped buy a house 5 years ago, they just listed it. Why? Like what happened?
Yeah.
And then the other one actually goes back to, I think, the Zuckerberg thing. I mean, he's just doing himself. I think that in this business, you just need to make sure you do you.
Right.
Don't try to pretend to be somebody else. Don't do what you think real estate agents should be. I probably lost a good year of my first year trying to pretend to be something that I was not, and I failed.
I don't know if I'm going to have 3 bullet points for you either, but I'll give you the biggest piece of advice. I think before you lock in your systems, you need to find a team, or maybe it's like a small team. Maybe it's one person with an admin staff, whatever it is. You need to figure out for yourself, your rookie self, how much business do I want to do? Right. And if your goals and ambitions map 10 million a year, then you need to find somebody in your marketplace that's actually done 10 million a year, or that's doing 10 or 20 or 30 million a year. And then you need to latch on to that person. Right. Mm-hmm. And you need to join their team. I think if you're a rookie agent and you're like, I'm going to be the next best single agent out there in the marketplace, good for you. It's going to take you 10 years minimum. You're not going to get there in year 1. Yeah. Unless you're someone who's run multiple businesses before. What people don't get is being a real estate agent, it's running your own business. Your broker is going to be your partner to some degree. But they're not going
your leader.
Yeah, they're not going to be your leader, and they're not going to build your business. And I can name all of the top ones, right, that are out there. They're not all the same, but they're not going to be the variable that is if you're successful or not.
And they're certainly not writing your quarterly, tax checks either. So
that's true.
Yeah.
If there's a broker out there that'll pay my taxes, then I'd love to meet you. So that's the first piece of advice. The second piece of advice is get multiple mentors that are doing well above the business that you want to do. So that could be coaching. By the way, my business took off when I started to get multiple mentors throughout the country. Mm-hmm. Tom Ferry Coaching is one of those. For me personally, I'm a big advocate of Tom Ferry Coaching. I don't get anything, by the way, if you sign up, unless you want me to get something, then I could get
we don't get anything from Zillow either, by the way.
And we don't get anything from Zillow.
Yeah.
So I think multiple mentors is important. Once you find that team in your local marketplace that has systems that you can learn with and kind of grow, don't, by the way, worry about your split. If you're around the right people, the money's going to come.
Always.
The split's not important, especially, you're starting at 0. If you go for a 100% company, like down in Florida, there's a lot of 100%ers, and you do no business, right?
Right.
What's 100% of 0? Right. But if you are on the most powerful team in Florida and they're like, hey, we're going to give you 10% for your first year, but you do 10% of the collective of, let's call it $30 million, I'll take that.
Right.
Over your 100% split. So don't worry about that.
You can't worry about that.
Get around the right people, get multiple mentors, and and just learn, just listen.
Well, that's the biggest.
Right?
Yeah, learning and doing. I mean, I'm still flipping learning. I mean,
dude, we're gonna be learning when we're like old. We're gonna be doing the real word at like 70, still trying to learn.
That's I'll definitely be hiding behind the microphone at that point.
That's what I
see
respect.
Our heads.
I respect Greg a lot because he'll tell you 50 years in the business.
50 years in the business.
But he's still learning, so I do respect that out of him, even though I'll continue
and putting himself out there.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's taken a really strong stance. I'll continue to beat him up on that stance. You can watch that Facebook Live video if you want to refer back to that. Yeah. But thanks for the final word. If you ever have a final word,
please,
you can reach out to us on anything. It could be Instagram. It could be right here in the comment sections. We'll read all the comments, by the way, and respond to every one of them, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're seeing this video. We'll track all of your comments. You can put the final word there. You can send it into us email directly. So you can email Nicole at One and Company. Brian will put that somewhere. Byron at One and Company. We'll take however you want to send it in. I think that one came in through Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
It did because we had the whole conversation about it.
Yeah, we did.
So that would
about
make
Messenger?
sense.
Yeah.
If you have some tips for me on Messenger, how to clean that up. I'm super organized. Right?
Yeah, I know you're absolutely.
Nicole, how many
I'm sorry.
emails are in your inbox?
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. That doesn't mean I'm not organized.
That's the final word.
Dude, why is that shit on Nicole Day? That was not the final word.
We just wrapped up the final word. Not your inbox.
No.
That's the final word. You're watching
you,
or
guys.
listening to The Real Word.
The Real Word.
And we'll drop a new show every single week. All right? Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.